sometimes we're not quite sure how to go on. This is Arcturian Philosophy with Professor Andromeda, also known as me, Krista. Professor Andromeda is the Arcturian. You might be wondering, what is this? Well, I encourage you to see the very short 9-minute video describing how my family optometrist, who I've known since I was a young teenager, tried to blind me in his office. And if you need proof of that, well, there's a reason I have this covering my eye. What happened? I went with my mother and a woman who claimed to be a life coach. Both of these people are possessed by reptilians. My entire town has become possessed by reptilians, and it rests on me to attempt to undo this mess if I can't manage to get myself out of it. This is in San Ramon, California, in the San Ramon Valley, it appears. And if anyone watching, if you know anyone in San Jose, California, San Jose has not yet been hit. San Francisco has. I don't know about Richmond. Concord is where a lot, Walnut Creek and Concord vary, but Concord is where a lot of the mischief has actually originated, I found. A lot of the planes that fly, the chemtrails, in this area. If you know this area, have friends in this area, had family in this area, or were familiar with the area I'm talking about, the San Francisco Bay Area, this is what I'm talking about. This is very strategic here in a logistic kind of fashion. So, in the area that I'm in, every single person was astrally attacked and possessed in some fashion, or killed and their body basically used and reanimated. That seems to be the case with my mother. Not so with my brother or my stepfather. They're both still, people in there, but being bossed around, told what to do. Now, my optometrist, I went in the car the short distance to the optometrist, but I realized, wait, they're driving along a strange route. And I had to actually interrupt and say, okay, we're going to the optometrist. I realized, wait, I have to create this reality here. And after a few brief questions to this, quote, life coach, I was able to figure out that, okay, I know what I'm dealing with here, which is a full-blown shape-shifted reptilian. And she gave it away point blank on the way back. I'll tell you about what she said. I walk into the optometrist's office. This is Dr. Fletcher Thames in San Ramon, California. You can look him up. Do not go to see him, though, because he might just try to blind you. Look at this right here. Might just try to blind you with some sort of very high-powered lens, getting a refracted light into your eye, essentially burning the eye in a way along, I believe, with the cornea, the inner area of the eye. So I walked into the office, and as I was sitting there, I had a bottle of coconut water. It was an opaque bottle. If you've looked at how I talk about how to vaguely protect things from being hexed, if you don't know how to energetically protect something, third density tricks for how to do it for weaker reptilians. And this doesn't help very much against the Yael and the Greys so much, but weaker reptilians, it can guard, help safeguard you against it. If you have an opaque container, meaning something made out of cardboard, it's not until you open the container that they can hex it. Hex meaning particles or poison of some kind appears in the container, and what appears there depends on the strength of the sender. Remember, this is all done with energy, so how much energy that person's able to put out is what causes the result. So I was sitting there, and multiple references in the car and all kinds of things, references had been made to actually doing something like this. And I realized after the fact, oh, that's what they were saying. References to half and blind, ideas like that. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to the optometrist. What's going on here? when I opened up that container that I was talking about, when you open it, right when you open it, the click, right when you open it, that's where the opportunity is to hex it. Right as I did that, someone was leaving and they said bye. And see, in the past, what I've done is I've taken a sip from whatever it is, because sometimes it'll be okay, sometimes not. Sometimes, you're overthinking it. If so much activity is occurring in your area, it's normal for a person to think of everything as a threat. But when you think of everything as a threat, you create threats. So I just closed the container and thought, you know what? I'm not going to risk it. One thing that I have done is stupidly walk into traps. So sometimes it seems like I'm supposed to walk into the trap for some sort of bizarre purpose, but this time I immediately thought, wait, no, do not walk into this trap, whatever's in there. You do not drink any of it. So I threw that out. And it seemed like they were a little bit angry about that, but I was laughing hysterically as I threw it out because I just knew, oh my gosh, okay, this is pretty hardcore here. The energy became very strong, and they were using that. They were trying to use what someone might know of from Dune is called the voice. Using the voice on me again. Yeah, temporarily succeeded with using the voice on me and did whatever the heck to my one eye. I can still see out of it if I open it, but you see they were making references quite a bit to the damage taking several weeks to manifest itself. But what I will tell to the opposite side here, what Cryon said, I'm not sure, we'll see in like, whatever, 2-3 weeks or whatever. Cryon said, Krista, and it was with the same powerful energy. I tell you, when, in another 2 or weeks, or when those glasses of yours come in, you are going to have you're going to have kind of perfect sight, or perfect vision. But what exactly that means, you see, he was vague about what exactly does that mean by having perfect vision. And this also was a total joke on the book Infinite Vision. Yeah, screw you. Oh, screw you. Nah, random people have no idea what I'm talking about. And the people who that I'm talking to don't need to actually go to YouTube to watch this, because they can just do it by themselves and not have to click on things like that. Funny joke. I did think the joke was funny. Funny joke. But what happened at the optometrist's office is I've known this optometrist since I was 13, maybe 14, or earlier, and he had seen me grow up pretty much, this man, and I thought maybe that he had seemed to have a strong will. Perhaps he'd still be okay or somehow manage, but working in a doctor's office, how could I possibly have been fooled that way? And especially an optometrist, you see, sight is one thing that they, if they can't break your bones or do something to your lungs, what do they want to go after next? It appears your eyes, because that's how you create things, by looking at things. But they try to use images to suggest things to you, but if you're able to outsmart that, and instead you use the images in a backwards fashion to help you manifest, well, it makes sense that they'd want to stop you from seeing, right? So what happened was, then I went into the room with the optometrist. The nurse seemed very strange, was not the same. I just knew, okay, yeah, okay, game on, you people. Oh, no. But see, it was using the voice on me again. Now I know. That's the people who've read some of the Dune stuff have to see what that means. It's basically just a strong push. A strong push, do what we say. Obey me, do what we say. That's what I mean by the whole Dune using the voice on me. That's a phrase in that book to reference basically a reptilian push. It doesn't reference reptilians, but it's talking about a strong mental push to do something. And I did hold my own in there, but at the same time, the optometrist, I could tell by his movement that he was full-blown reptilian on me. And I thought, oh my God, my optometrist he's not even in there anymore. He was not, his soul was not even practically in there. Or if it was like boxed in somehow strangely upon itself. And the entity could still use his memories. I mean, the entity was able to describe in detail the workings of the eye and things like that, which was something I always used to ask that doctor about, so I knew that the information he was stating was true. So it was partly able to fool me into letting him shine. Oh, I'm going to check your retina here. But see, I knew that he would shine the flashlight and just stare, because my eyes were always dilated. He didn't need to use drops that you might be familiar with, the eye doctor. Instead, he holds up a big lens and shines it, and then I back away because, I can feel something's wrong. And it was not exactly painful. That was supposed to be, the kind of trick there, that it would, burn the crap out of me, and then I would, a month later be blind. Something along those lines. Now, in the middle of the whole thing, after the whole thing happened, then after I realized, okay, I'm going to have to use every single bit of my intelligence to get myself out of this situation. And also, I'm doing this just to keep everything down there. The eyelid should be closed. So what they told me, to help with the healing process, just like where you see people that have eye patches. So. Or either way, it's nice to prepare. Oh, in case I do end up being blind in this eye, hey, at least I'm going to get used to it. That's cool. And then also, that's a very good reaction to have to this kind of thing. This kind of thing happens to you. You don't know anyone. You're literally all alone. There's literally no one in your vicinity that you can three-dimensionally interact with, who has your full interest at heart. Except for me, ironically, because anyone who comes up to me, the first thing I want to do is help them, but then they attempt to harm me. So oh my God, what am I supposed to do here? So I walk out. I demand to him that this stops now. He tried to once he quote wasn't finished with this eye, right? And you see I'm holding it like this. You can feel a damage. You can feel the literal skin or membrane, the membrane of the eye. It's a globe-like structure. It feels as if that was literally damaged, as if scarring occurred along the back portion of my eye, where he was shining the light into. If you picture an image of an eye, a three-dimensional image, it feels like there was stuff that got, like a laser going zzz, onto my eye. So I have to reverse engineer that. So I ended up, it was dark, I couldn't quite see the whole device, but the device was about this big, and it was some sort of high-powered lens, some very strong lens, and the light was very, very bright, and you could feel it immediately on your eye, as if it was doing something to your eye. I'm not sure if other technology was involved or not. But in addition to that, then, so I tell him I began to simply speak with a kind of power, and I felt the actual rotating of the heart and solar plexus chakras. I'd never felt the solar plexus before. And I said, okay, I believe this appointment is over, and we are going to simply use the prescription that I had from last time, and I'm going to go about and pick glasses now. Oh, but I still have to do... No, we are done with this. And that's often what you have to do if you are in a situation where literally everyone around you is possessed in this kind of fashion. That's how you survive. That is how you survive. You have to just be like that. And also thinking on your feet. So as I walk out there, I receive different communications, which fortunately they're wiping from my memory at the moment, so I can't quite describe them, which is good. Certain communications describing, okay, see where you are, see what's going on. We have to deal with this all the time, from the different various entities that were trying to help me, saying, look, this happens to us all the time. This is where you have to, this is your first real, out there, your first real time out there. If before you were being, harmed kind of in this confined area, but now, you're full blown out there. In order to get anything done in this kind of climate, you really have to think on your feet. And so I ended up just grabbing practically a random pair of glasses. At the end, this was funny. Usually what they do is they will mark with a permanent marker where your pupils are so they can center the glasses for you. The lady said, oh, just put them on or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm holding my eye, I've got my palm over my eye like this. It was full like I had my palm over my eye, like, and they're not even asking what's wrong, because they were making fun of me in there. We're talking about the entire optometrist's office. So you guys, you need to believe me here. This is not the kind of thing where I can walk outside and find a neighbor to say, hello, normal neighbor. I'm in a situation where there's a problem. There are no normal neighbors. All of the neighbors, all of the humans, everybody was full-blown attacked in this area through chemical, biological, nanotechnology, all kinds of different means. And some of the most sadistic things that you could think of being done, and I was the only person somehow with the fight and the resolve to fight it off. So actually, I'm going to keep this over here because this helps better with the energy, particularly while I'm facing the camera. Because while I'm facing the camera, you see, people can see this while I'm talking, in addition to when you see it on YouTube. So sometimes they do things. But see, just like Immortal Technique said, I know this information could cost me my life, but one day someone will sing a song about Immortal Technique. This information could cost me my life, but one day someone will sing a song about Krista Hauer. Someone will write a book. Someone will write an autobiography about Krista Elizabeth Hauer and say, that girl really refused to ever give up. So what happened then was they attempted, I could tell that with the woman there, they moved. The doctor also moved in a kind of snake-like fashion. If you don't have any of the special vision, I don't really have much of it either. But if you, I can tell by I can see into a person like Avatar, the I see you thing. I can do that like that, but I can't see like a reptile there, an outline of something. But even if you can't tell at all, who's a normal person and who's reptilian, who's enslaved, etc., you can tell the reptilians a lot of the time because sometimes they will betray these snake-like body movements, and that was what tipped me off to the optometrist, is, oh man, you're completely reptilian on me, oh god. So I had to actually get up and say, no, you're not going to do whatever strange thing with permanent marker on my eyes, because see, I'd been studying hexes and such, and a lot of them involve permanent markers, and what's this? A reflective object. A lens is a reflective object, and what did the guy just shone in my eyes? Light through a lens. That, in this at least. And so, I ended up having to tell them, no, and this is also funny, my mother said, oh, don't you do that thing with the dots? She doesn't know anything about optometry or anything. she read it from the minds of the other people there as, oh, you've got an opportunity to do something to her. You have an opening. If she consents to it, you've got an opening to do something or attempt to harm her eyes in some other fashion because we partly failed with what we wanted to do. And actually, I say it now. They've completely failed, and there will be a miracle in which my eyes will be totally restored. So it is. But I actually had to stand there, and I said to Catherine Hauer, I'll just say, I can't call her my mother anymore. It's that my mother is not in there. It's a body that looks like my mother, which has the spirit of a large green lizard type thing inside of it. And so I said, you don't even work here. You already said we were done to the employee, to the nurse. You already said we were done. You do not even work here. I am done with this. That's what you have to do. And you have to feel it with a power that comes from so your heart solar plexus. That was what happened when I stopped everything. And after that, we went into the car, and something clicked, and I thought, wait, you have been sitting there silent while they say things which try to suggest things for you to create. It's almost like they're forcing you to do that by suggesting it. What if you just say what you are creating and keep on doing it? So I just ended up speaking a kind of gibberish, but it was something along the lines of this, similar to, all right, now I see that we're going to be going back into the car. Now we're going to get in the car. Okay, now we're going to drive the car back to my apartment. And I'm going to keep talking because it appears that you require me to do this in order for you to drive back to my apartment. We're going to drive back safely, and we're going to return in order to retrieve my glasses when they are finished, and I will walk in with perfect vision. And everything will be completely healed. Everything is completely healed. And I just completely started doing all of it in front of them because I realized, wait, oh my God, this is a true serious situation. And the quote life coach that was with my mother, who was part Native American, she actually turned around in the car, in the passenger seat. I was sitting in the back, and she said to me, "You know not with whom you speak." I'm imitating the tone exactly. You know not with whom you speak. I know who you are. Or she actually said, we know who you are. That's what she said. We know who you are. You hold no power here. And I thought to myself, we know who you are. And I hold no power here. Okay, so you're that scared of me that you actually have to tell me that. Alright. But who is it that is so frightening to you? That is the question. But what I will tell you is that I'm not sure what this means, because a lot of things have been really contradictory, and that's the Gray Yael's MO, being confusing. That's just what they do. Then the reptilians too. But they kept on calling me Mary. And they kept on calling me Mary inside of this kind of reptilian prison. Or when I ended up getting stuck out on strange dimension outside. Yeah, right outside where you see that kite. I walked outside that door, opened the door, closed the door, then look, and bam! It was the same apartment complex here, but it was completely different. Everything was painted different colors. I turn around and I see that my own door, the key does not fit. It has a doorbell. I don't have a doorbell. I see different things out on the balcony. I think to myself, oh my God, everything is suddenly changed. And sure enough, I had to find my way back onto into my own house, which is where I found, oh, it looks like that's where the whole thing started. As, oh, you want to burn me as a kind of sacrifice. Sounds great. I'm definitely going to go along with you if that's your plan, guys. that was what it seemed like their end game was. The reptilians wanted to sacrifice me to Lucifer. So, what is important, though, is how we respond to these things. So, how do we respond? I ended up almost falling over laughing when the woman said something about truth. And see, in ET 101, they're trying to define truth. They say truth. You wouldn't know what truth was if it hit you in the face, practically. And when I saw that, I thought, you're right. I wouldn't know truth if it hit me in the face either. And so when she said truth, I just started laughing hysterically because I thought, I'm holding my hand like this. I'm in a car with two reptilians in a town of all reptilians, of not one single human that I can get to, without a car, without anything, in an entire area, an entire valley that is practically overtaken, with the exception that I can identify of San Jose. And you want to tell me about truth, like truth. Oh, okay, you're trying to dominate the world, destroy it, and then you lie and backstab and cheat, and you want to tell me about truth? Excuse me? As Paul says, you're so lucky that I've preached the gospel to you for free. That's what the Apostle Paul actually says that. Or, one interesting thing that Teal said today was, don't get confused into thinking a person's going to be safe by murdering them. That was great. That was really great. That was. Don't get confused into thinking you're going to make a person safe by murdering them. So rather, to phrase it in the positive, become enlightened to the concept that you can become safe in a new way. Safe, not meaning kept away from everybody else. I would think of safe as being practically kept away from everybody else. Even before all this happened, I lived like a little hermit in this apartment complex. And now that everyone's literally possessed, I think to myself, wait, well, you know what, my life completely depends on this, my planet depends on this. I need to get to other people. So, ArcturianPhilosophy@gmail.com. I need to say that at the beginning of my videos. ArcturianPhilosophy@gmail.com, guys. We can feel safe. This is more for another audience, not necessarily for the sapien audience. Being safe doesn't have to be about being basically locked up. That means safe from other people, or the other people are safe from you. That means the other people are safe, not you. And that's only because the other people are saying that you are some menace that has to be cooped up so that they're safe. What safe really means is having peace in one's own existence. When, you see, you are constantly caught up with the different things that happen. Oh, something happened to my eye. That bastard, I'm going to get him back. Well, that mentality has pervaded to the ones I speak to for quite a long time. An eye for an eye, as the scripture says. But That is why, like an apostle to the Gentiles, I come to you. The first apostle to the Gentiles, he knew what was up. He doesn't say it very often, and when he does, it's only in a code. But I think he knew it was a little bit futile. Is it futile for now the ones I speak to? For most of you, yes. But if it was really futile, Michael, the non-human who looked at me in Concord, California, when I was imprisoned, when they were sure that I was going to die, looked at me and said, "You have to get out of here. You have to get out of here." Because he could see suddenly we were on the same side. Another girl from the same place recognizes me as I get fake 5150'd in this town full of reptilians because their concept is to kill me or do whatever to me is, best they can. And what do? They end up releasing me because I start helping her. And she knew that. She told me that they're releasing you because you're helping me. And I said, I can, yeah, that's probably what it is. I tried to leave her a note with some tips. But it's those people that drive us on forward. In a second video, I'm going to talk about how we react immediately to these different things. Because, yes, I know that my talking is a bit haphazard, and I have to work on that, and also work on how long I talk for. I'm not a professional at this. I'm not Teal, hello. So, I'm an average, I was an average person. Well, not an average person. I was an incredibly smart girl, born, who prayed to God, "Please God make me stupid," for about 10 years so I can be like everybody else. Oh, and then it happened. Now knowing that, I did that to myself, and that I thought, did God actually do that? Oh, well, I actually did it to myself. You could say God did it. Now I'm having to recover from that. And in addition to recover from that, and making myself totally bedridden and sick as a dog, well, I have to save my entire area. Is it possible? I'm not really sure sometimes. I keep being told, yeah, it's possible. Even if you had only one eye, you know that you could manage around. Even if you had no eyes, you know how Neo in the Matrix could still see. Don't worry. The most important thing is lack of worry in these circumstances. So what? Maybe I lose my vision. So what? My spirit still animates me. I'm still here for this shift. The most amazing thing that we could be here to witness. And I'm still here to help people. Because as much of a bitch as I come off of when I'm just talking into a camera because I'm angry and I have no one else to talk to except a camera that ends up going on YouTube, people know how much I care. People know. Or else I wouldn't be sitting here with a bandage over my eye, describing this, risking my life to say this occurred, this happens, and here's what you should do about it. So, follow me in another video about how to react to these kinds of situations when they suddenly acutely occur right in front of you like this. And perhaps I might include a little bit that I learned from someone, but not mention who. I'll see you next time. Blessings.